Hey everyone, welcome to episode 495 of This is Whole Life, a mere 5 episodes away
from our 500th episode.
Cool. And our trip to Australia.
Sponsored by the Florida Conference District 1.
That is awesome.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
Is that right, Brad?
Yeah.
That's how you heard it.
All right.
It's on tape.
Okay.
We don't AI anything on this show, right? We just got done saying that.
So Ken, tell him what he's won.
Well, we've won.
Well, I would assume he's coming with us.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that does seem fair.
I think that's fair.
You've always wanted to go. Have you been to Australia?
No, we're planning on going at the end of next year.
Well, now you're going in January, so congratulations.
Yeah.
That's for our 500th episode. We decided we need to go down under for.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We have WholeLife members.
We have a WholeLife member there, and they said if we can get there, that we've got a place to stay. So,
well, let me tell you a little bit what you can expect when we get there, because they've already arranged. This is from Randy. She's already arranged a visit to the first SDA congregation in Australia for everyone who comes over for episode 500. The history begins in Melbourne, in Australia. 4 missionaries from the San Francisco area came to Melbourne at the encouragement of Ellen White. She also preached at the North Fitzroy SDA Church and planning a trip there. There's if you go to our Slack channel, you can find out more. She put a little article there. Weather is mid-20s Celsius. That's mid-70s for the rest of us. Down in the 60s at night, late afternoon, evening, lovely. She's looking forward to getting everyone travel details. Making sure she's going to meet everyone at the airport for a proper welcome. Yeah. So that's another thing And let's see.
Does she say there'll be kangaroos? Are there kangaroos in her yard?
It wasn't mentioned, but I wouldn't be surprised
How
at
about
all.
kangaroo boxing?
Well, Randy, if you could just throw some stuff in the Slack channel for us, Brad would like to know if that's what he's also getting along with this trip. And so
I would say no, thank you.
We'd like to make sure that he's happy because he is paying the bill. So we would like him to be happy.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean,
I'm just saying, when you're the guy leaving the tip, you need to make sure
you get a little bit of a say. Huh?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So anyway, just hoping everyone's doing well. Keep up the good work. There's a bunch more if you'd like to go and read it. It is on our Slack channel. You can find the link in today's show notes and also some pictures of said church and such, so you can figure that out. So in case you were wondering who this Brad fellow is, and then there was an unaccompanied or unidentified female voice yet to this conversation that you've heard, let's introduce our guest. Ken, you want to introduce him?
I'd be happy to.
I think you should.
I introduced them on Sabbath. It feels
like
that's kind of
why I thought maybe you'd like to do it here too as well.
So sitting straight across from me is Randy. Randy, you may be familiar with, is our regular podcast leader, guru. You've done all 500 episodes, right?
Pretty close. I think I've not been here for either just 1 or 2 total.
So diagonal to me, we have Julie Cassell. Julie.
Hey, everybody.
Hey. And
welcome,
so Julie is a teacher at Forest Lake Education Center. She teaches Bible there. And right now she's wearing a very bright pink T-shirt that says, "Bruh, read your Bible." I love it. Very cool. So very nice. Did you teach today?
I actually didn't. I called in sick today.
Oh.
So I'm doped up on cold medicine.
We can go ahead and edit that out, whatever. So you weren't here on
what happens when the podcast stays on the podcast.
There we go. Anyway, and so Julie Cassell, awesome. And then to my right is just a magnificent human being. He is just fabulous in every which way. I don't say that just because he's my boss. But Brad Cassell just recently became the Associate Ministerial Director for the region of Florida that WholeLife is found in. And we are just very much enjoying him having him as our new Associate Ministerial Director for this area. And before he was doing that, he was at the Celebration Church as lead pastor there. And so we would go to meetings together and always paying attention, always very focused. So anyway.
No, you're not talking about the same Brad I am then.
Hey, I'm talking. This is the podcast version where we tell mostly the truth and all that good stuff. So anyway, but no, I've known Brad's brother a little bit longer than I've known Brad because I went to college with Brian Cassell, who's the lead pastor at the Spring Meadows Church. And
Oh.
Brad, I think you're only a year or two ahead of us, right? Not too far ahead.
7.
No, I mean, just a year or two. So anyway, so I missed out on that, but have gotten to know Brad since I've been down here in Florida, and just have enjoyed him very much as a colleague, and so was really thrilled when he made the transition. A lot of times as a pastors, we get to choose our churches in a sense, because we get to say, yes, I'm willing to go there, or no, I'm not willing to go there. But it's kind of a different thing when you are working in a conference situation, which I've had the privilege of doing 3 times. And you kind of get to go, hey, I'm going to look around the neighborhood and see where I want to put my membership and where I want to be involved and engaged. And I think a couple weeks after you transitioned out, Julie started to kind of show up here. And I kind of heard from Julie, she says, you guys are kind of my people here at WholeLife. This is kind of my thing. And we knew she was our people too when
chili cook-off.
Yes, the chili cook-off, she won it. Right?
Second place.
Second place.
Next year, though.
I'm just prophecy. That's what I'm talking about. That for
I'm gunning for first next year.
I'm preaching on prophecy next week, so I'm just practicing.
Yeah.
But second place, and I think what was more impressive to me than that was she brought 3, not 1, not 2, but 3.
4, actually.
4. Okay, see, and now I'm underdoing it.
See?
4 large, and we're not talking like just small, but we're talking about large pots of chili. So I think she probably fed at least 1,000 of the 5,000 that were there. So, yeah.
Well, the pots just kept growing. I was making one of veggie and one of the meat, and then I just cook with my heart and my soul. I don't follow recipes, so it kept growing and growing, and then I needed to add a second pot for each of them. So
you cook just like my wife. That's exactly, because we're always like, oh man, this is the best you've ever made. She's like, too bad you're never going to have it again.
It's never the same.
It's never going to be the same. And she said, hey, the church still has those like giant pots this year, right? And I was like, I'm sure there's got to be one. She's like, ask Alex if she can get you one, because I'll fill a big one this year with chili. So she was kind of in that same kind of frame of mind to just make all the chili.
I do want to clarify something you had said in last week's podcast, Ken.
Oh, what did I say?
You said about me being a new member and really raising the standard there.
Yeah.
Having been in ministry for 28 years. I mean, that's the context that I'm coming from.
Sure.
So you just fill in the gap wherever you think there's going to be.
Fill a need.
But I also want to affirm you, because I've also, not here in Florida, but in other places that I've been, I've had
the jar of olives come across the table.
I've had people in ministry who came to my church, and it was time for a vacation for them, and that's okay. I mean, we all get tired at times, but it just was really impressed. I mean, you just jumped in with both feet, and just
I'm
very
in the choir
engaged.
too.
Yeah. I just, like I said, you're a poster child for what we look or are happy about when we see somebody.
Well, truth be told, you've been on a radar for some time. In ministry, Julie's always had to be stuck with where I was. And also,
it's not being stuck.
No, it's not stuck. But also our son Mason was here at Advent Health for undergraduate. And that went really well for him. He loved this church because he hated long services, and he was there. I think Andy was here at the time.
Yeah, and he loved just getting up at noon. I mean, coming to church at noon.
Yes.
Me too.
There's something I've heard about that. I hear it's a great thing. I mean, but you guys got
This past week it was very good. I had to watch your message for the first time just about an hour ago, because it's a rare weekend when I'm not here at all. And we had an.
You were in a hot tub somewhere down in.
We had an invitation. My wife's aunt lives right on the water in Marco Island.
What a shame!
I know, right? And so it's tough to take, but also it is. It has been. She's a very, very kind and loving, giving woman, and she allows us to bring the whole tribe, and we go and hang out. And so it's just gas there and two.
So if we don't get the airfare for Australia,
maybe
Marco Island.
Yeah, they have a pool deck, and the dock might be done. We might be able to record from the sound of the gentle waves of the Gulf. Occasional boat passing in the channel, but
nice.
Yeah, maybe. Actually, that might work. I'll have to.
So, Randy, you said something a little earlier, and I know that we're going to need to dive into the message here in a second, but I want to take a moment. You mentioned Alex.
Yeah.
And I want to take a moment to say congratulations to
Yeah.
Stanley and Alex, who had their beautiful daughter, Isabella
Right.
Grace. And
Isabella
congratulations.
Grace.
Alex is our assistant facility manager. She's works at our front desk here at WholeLife. And this last Sabbath, they had their child. And we're just
praise
happy
God.
for them and
Yeah.
praying for them and just excited.
Alex is kind of our Swiss Army knife over in the office.
It needs to be done. She can
Alex,
get it
do
done.
you know, or can you find out, or do you know? Yeah, she'll find out for you. So we better jump in, but before we do that, I feel like we've got to settle some scores from the message because they seemed like, I don't know, second service. You guys, I was hoping more people were going to like show support, raise of hands, maybe clapping, cheering, stuffing versus dressing.
Yeah, I really felt left out there.
Oh no, we won.
Yeah.
The North won.
Did they? Yeah.
Just like the Civil War.
We're in
they
Orlando.
won.
Yeah, well, we're in Orlando, Florida. This isn't really a part
It's
of the
the
South.
North,
It
you're
is.
right.
It's,
Okay, I didn't know I was going to get beat up here.
I have to tell you though, I couldn't decide what to do because I'm half and half. My dad is from Pennsylvania,
Go.
and my mom is from Virginia,
That's definitely the South.
and so I was torn because I was like, why can't it be both? Because we've said it both ways.
Why
Stuffing,
wouldn't you
dressing.
want both?
Huh?
What about either?
Yeah.
Is not good.
Because dressing just tastes better.
Well, I like stuffing better myself. That's just me. But that's,
I don't. I
Don't.
like croutons, but I've been converted. I just was putting up a good fight.
What do you mean croutons? What is
It's
that?
kind of like stuffing.
Those
You
are-
know,
they're crumbs.
Cubes.
You're so
Bread
out. You're
cubes.
outside of the realm of stuffing. You don't even want to think about a crouton.
So what does dressing look like in your house when you're making dressing? What is that? Is it?
Well,
do
I have
you
to
like-
make a pan of cornbread a couple
Okay.
days ahead of time.
Yeah.
Big pan of cornbread because it's made with cornbread.
Right.
that's the best kind, though, if you're going to do dressing.
It is.
I'll give you that.
It
Yeah,
is.
Absolutely.
And then you just add all kinds of stuff. Again, you don't follow a recipe.
No.
The onions, the celery,
Yeah.
stock,
the broth.
eggs.
To
Bind it a
solidify
little
it,
bit,
to
yeah.
bind it. And then usually whatever, if it's bread, actually we had some leftover croutons. I threw that in there. It can
That's
be
blasphemy.
grits.
Did you
No,
really
no,
do that?
no.
Okay.
It's
If
still official.
it's left over, it's okay, right?
Yeah, if it's left over.
Sourdough?
Stovetop.
As
You go out there
long,
to stovetop?
no, as long as the bulk of it is cornbread.
I'm gonna have to think about inviting you people over to my house because
Well, my wife
Pepperidge
baked an
Farms
apple
makes money
pie
off of us.
Yeah.
for Thanksgiving in Marco because, well, she got there and realized that she didn't have the recipe. And so she's like, well, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah.
There wasn't a piece left over. It was just fine. Everything went perfectly well. So
Yeah.
yeah, you don't need a recipe.
Well, those of us who cook the way that we do.
Yeah, no, for sure
Yeah.
not.
And it sounded like you had quite the crew to cook for too. So that
We
you
did.
probably need all the croutons and everything else you could throw in there based on
Well,
how many.
and we had a family over the Monday night before Thanksgiving, and so all week I had been preparing and cooking all along the whole week. It takes days.
Do you do most of the cooking on your own? Does anybody else in your family jump in, or is it just really a
No,
Julie
everybody
Cassell
that-
event?
Everyone that comes will bring 1 or 2 or 3 dishes, but it's primarily me. Now, Tiffany, who lives at the house with us, my daughter-in-law, she
She's a good cook.
she's a great cook, and she cooked 3 of the dishes,
Oh,
I
okay.
think. So.
And Mason's a good cook, but he's the meat guy. He's our oldest son. So she's not good with the meat stuff. I'll be honest with you.
I admit it. I don't cook
she
it very
did-
often.
And the turkey, we buy it. Sam's Club members, Mark, already cooked. Just throw it in the oven for a couple hours, and it's good enough for us. So,
Hence why my veggie chili won an award and not my. I mean, I think my meat chili was good too, but
Yeah.
There was also, I was going to say there's also only 4 veggie chilies that could show.
no, come on.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I have submitted one and I didn't get anything. So there you go. So there's the.
all right, Julie.
Oh, you just took me down a few notches.
That was not nice. We can edit that out too. So
We
that was pretty bad.
There was only one.
Should we?
And you got
And I got
second.
second.
I know there was. Well, what does that say? If there was only one and I submitted one, they're like, "We're not even going to taste this. We're taking this off the table."
That's an inside job.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So-
no, there
so
was
Brad,
a
do you
whole
cook-
table.
There
of
was.
veggies.
There was.
Yeah, there was a
Brad,
lot.
do you cook anything?
Yes, I
is
do.
it- okay,
Brunch.
what's your?
I-
Okay.
What I do is my shtick is fresh potatoes. I cut them and I fry them and I put eggs over them. That's what I did growing up.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's it right there. And I do other
When you say you put eggs over them, scrambled eggs,
whatever.
like-
I just
whatever.
scramble them and
So
throw
it's
the
kinda like
eggs
He
a-
over
cracks them over the potatoes.
Over the-
so it's kind of a
fried
bowl,
potatoes.
like kind of a skillet type of thing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I
Okay.
just
Oh, that sounds-
do that.
Throw a little
eggs and
sausage in
potatoes.
there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do some of that too.
Yeah. I like it.
Nice.
Well,
Okay.
what time is brunch?
I'm feeling a little hungry.
I know. I'm just like, I did not eat enough this morning to make this all work out. The other one is, you went way back. Waltons. The Waltons. I'm like,
I know.
wow.
Yeah, that was for my sister.
That was for his sister.
That's a good
She
one, though,
loves
'cause
the Waltons.
I grew up watching.
So
Waltons.
my sister, well,
How much older do you as your sister?
she's 15 months older than me.
Okay.
I will say this.
In age.
She
Thanks for clarifying.
will she listen to this?
I
you
don't
can
know.
send it to her. I mean,
I don't know if I will after this. So she's part of the fan club. I will say she has
Literally.
she has a VHS and an old TV, and she sticks them all in every night to go to bed.
She has the whole series.
Wow.
And she went to the reunion when half of them were still alive. The kids are still alive.
And
Wow.
last birthday or Christmas, you bought her the Waltons Monopoly game.
in a game, and it had them on it. But she would go to these up to Charlottesville, and it was kind of like the Trekkies on Saturday Night Live, where they're like asking about episode 2, scene 4, and like they want to tell them about their real life. Like Ike Gotsey, the store guy, and she's like, I just want to know about that season 3, episode 4, and he's like. He can't even remember, but she's there trying to
line
grill.
26 in the script for those of you who aren't paying
Exactly. So-
attention.
This show means more to you than it did to me.
Absolutely.
But
you
to
know.
be fair, the table scenes
Yeah,
on the
it's true.
Waltons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were beautiful. I mean, the whole family and grandma and grandpa and
Yeah.
that big giant table.
And we put in, Cosby Show. We kind of grew up more with that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then also Full House is interesting because it was a blended
Yeah.
kind of family
Family,
situation. So that was I didn't realize that till after I started looking at it. Oh, that's pretty cool.
I only had one bone to pick with you. You did leave out one important TV show that you should have put in there with
Tell me more.
And Julie, you're a good Southern girl, so Duck Dynasty.
I thought you were going to say Dukes of Hazzard.
Okay, so 2 bones to pick then. That's, there we
Did
go.
they eat at the table ever? I
They
thought
did.
they ate on the General Lee. I mean,
Well, they drank at the Boar's Nest and got lunch at the Boar's Nest. But,
Right.
Uncle Jesse used to cook breakfast every so often.
Didn't,
Uncle
like Duck
Jesse.
Dynasty, doesn't every episode end with them around the table? Isn't that?
I've never seen the show.
I have never seen it.
Me either.
Oh, okay. Me neither. Then I have also not
All right,
seen
Randy.
it. So
All right, Julie and I have it right there. Well, I think though when you think about it, though, the Waltons, the Cosbys, or the show that, like you said, maybe Full House, maybe others, the table scenes. I mean, think of your favorite show, and there is a table scene in every show you've ever watched. Just think about it. I mean, any show you've ever watched nearly has a table scene that you can think of that's either for comedic, it's for the one to make you cry, it's the one that makes you just go, oh man, I miss my friends.
Yeah.
Because think of the show Friends, like the Thanksgiving where Joey puts on all of Chandler's clothes because he's going to wear the stretchy pants, but he went and he comes back in like the abominable clothes man. And, there's every show you can possibly think of. And there is something about, so like you said, even though the Bible has had this right from the beginning, research, popular culture, everybody knows that some of the best stories you're ever going to tell around the table happened at the table.
There's a modern show that we were going to put in. My mom, who passed away a couple years ago, her favorite show was with her favorite actor. That would be Tom Selleck.
Of course.
And he had a show called Blue Bloods, and it was a Catholic family, NYPD, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and so every episode pretty much had the family, and it was dysfunctional at times, but they are all in law enforcement. They all met together Sunday after Mass. at the table. And now they would argue at times, they'd fight at times, they would argue about some criminal or something going on because he was the DA, I think. But anyway, it's interesting, even in modern television, I would say modern within past
Yeah,
age,
that's not quite modern.
well, 10 years. Okay. But they're still a table. That's what I was saying, and it's kind of interesting.
Because so much happens at the table.
Yeah.
And that's what the whole sermon was about, that sharing we talked about leaving the distractions behind, but not the stuff that's going on, bringing your problems to the table so you can share them with each other and bounce off each other and just affirm each other.
Yeah. Well, and if you don't have the distractions, I mean, right now our laundry room is torn apart, which is next to the dining room. And so everything that was in the laundry room is now in the dining room. And we've been eating in the living room, and which is, you have the TV, whether it's on or off. I mean, there's just distractions abound because there's something about the table when you're at the table. Mm-hmm. There's, at least in our house, my wife has always had the no devices at the table rule. Yeah. Don't bring your book. Don't bring your crossword puzzle. Like, don't bring anything except yourself. Mm-hmm. And whatever's on the table is what's to eat, and we'll have discussion around whatever we're going to talk about. And when you had that, it feels kind of weird if you go someplace else and you find out that it's like, oh, well, we do this while we eat, or we do that while we eat. And I'm going to say this, it's wrong or it's bad. I mean, there's times when we're like, we're just tired. We're going to throw on an old TV show like MacGyver. If you have Tubi TV, it's free. Anyway.
I like MacGyver.
I love MacGyver. Right. And so, or whatever, we're just tired. We it's a quick meal we're going to eat and just sit and veg out. So I'm not saying that it never happens, but there is something super special about, like you said, it's just a table. It's just materials. It's nuts, bolts, wood, formica, whatever your table is, until people come around. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you guys started to talk about what kind of people you invited around your table as it expands. How often do you guys, is this something that you like to do, is to entertain and to bring people around the table?
We do like to. I love to host, but I mean, life happens, and
that's the struggle.
Yeah, and it's a real issue, and I want to be humble about it. We're not, we both work full time, and it's hard. Weekends as a ministerial family are busy. And it's hard to get people in the evenings for us, for others. So, yeah, we do. There are times, and it's kind of cycles. In the summer when I'm not on, or during the holidays, we have it more often. But, yeah, Sunday morning brunches seem to work best for us, though, to have people over.
We're trying to get back in that groove a little bit. When the kids were younger, it was easier. Now, empty nester, trying to recreate that. And, that's when we can invite friends over. We've had a standing invitation for one that we haven't done yet, or several for brunch, and it's just because, in ministry, let's be honest, I don't care what you're doing. Ministry, you have a long Saturday, a long Sabbath, as we call it, and you come back and you're tired, and Sunday morning.
Because it was Sabbath, you're tired. It was a long day.
Yeah,
and then Sunday, you're like, wow, this feels great.
It's even harder for you once you're working at in the level that you're at. For those of you who are listening, not familiar with Adventist church structure, you've got your local church, and then overseeing those local churches as a conference. And that's where Brad is. And in my experience, I mean, that's even harder because you're often having to drive several hours to be somewhere. So if you're at a church that's particularly hospitable, they'll maybe have a meal for you, and or they'll invite you over to somebody's house, maybe, and that's that. Yeah,
they'll show me to the nearest taco.
Sometimes I've had that happen a couple times where it was. I remember one time I think I was about 4 hours away from home, got done with church, and it was like,
see you later.
Have a great rest of your Sabbath, and I'm like, oh, okay,
safe travels.
So see ya. So I mean that, but that to the point that you're making it. Life is difficult. I suspect those who are listening to this who aren't pastors or working at a conference have similar struggles, just similar things going on in your life. I always appreciate getting the lunch invitations from church members here, and I often feel bad because when they invite me, I'm like, okay, but I probably won't be at your house until about 2:00 in the afternoon because church gets done at 1. So like best case scenario, if I like just really fly out the door, is that I'm at your house by 2:00, depending on where you live, and
if
that's
you're close.
That's pushing it.
It really is. And so more often I know I've embarrassed my wife before by, I think we were invited somewhere and I showed up like around 3. There's just something that happened at the church and I couldn't leave. I had to stay.
Yeah.
And you know, people are holding a meal for you and you feel bad about it. And there it's 3:00 in the afternoon. It's like, we were ready to eat about 3 hours ago. So,
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is one of my favorite things to be able to have somebody over to your house or to go over to somebody's house. I mean, we've almost given up on trying to do like Sabbath lunch at our house because it's so hard on just getting home, getting it set up, and having somebody over. So we've kind of moved more into like the sundown Friday or Saturday night if we're going to do that. Or we find we often will also, in the world that we live in, there's just something that in our family that works for us is to just go have a meal out with somebody. So go out to a restaurant that everybody likes. And I've also discovered as I've kind of been doing that a little bit more that you got to be a little bit thoughtful about what restaurant you're going to, because if it's really loud, you can't always have the conversation that you want to be able to have. So, I really, really enjoyed your message, and not just because I didn't have to preach this week. I just really enjoyed it because it took me back and reminded me a lot of less busy times in our life and how valuable those times and the ones that, and even now when we make the priority to go ahead and do this, how valuable that table is. And that there is, I really loved how you talked about how the table is holy.
Yeah.
And it's sacred space. And I really appreciate that. I loved the last, and I'm not going to try to jump ahead of you too far, but I loved at the end the summary that you had about all the things with the table that it was just a really, for me, a very encouraging kind of, for me, an inspiring one to be like, I really need to go ahead. It's too easy for me to get home late and not be eating with anybody or whatever. And sometimes that's inevitable. But there's other times where if I just did a little bit more thoughtful planning,
being
it could
intentional.
happen.
Being intentional. And, Randy, you asked, do we have people over a lot? Sometimes our house is a mess sometimes, but it's a good reason to clean up. But also,
that's what I was going to ask you, because that's usually my wife is like, have you seen the house? You invited what? And I was like,
but you know, and you said this last week with, I think, your aunt coming in and it made her feel at home. We don't want a perfect house or a perfect table because then people don't feel comfortable.
Well, we need to clean the toilets, though.
Yes.
Yeah,
toilets
there's a
are
handful of
important.
things that really need to be done. But also, I get that too, though, because, as my wife likes to have everything in its place and, that not for perfection, but just like, hey, we do clean, the house, and it's we do care about things and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's a balance, right?
We didn't mention the animal farm. I mean, that's
we do have
we have a
animals.
dog, we have 2 cats, and we have a python who happens to be out in a aquarium,
like 5 feet from the table, right?
Wait, what?
A ball python,
She's
Medusa.
She's about 5.5 feet long.
I was going to ask if I could come over, but I don't know if I can anymore.
Well, we on Thanksgiving there was a couple kids that.
Yeah, she
They
came out.
missing.
And they held her and were holding her.
Happy Thanksgiving, Medusa.
I'm backing away from my microphone. No.
I know, but I will share this with you.
Who's the python lover out of the two of you? Is it
It's our
yours?
son.
Oh,
No,
it's your son's.
it's
It's our
Mason,
son.
but Brad's the one
Okay.
that takes care of her.
I take
Okay.
care of her. Yeah,
she's pretty easy to take care of.
we have a family across the street, and they're Chinese. He's from Taiwan. She's from China. They've been in the States for probably 35, 40 years. He worked for the federal government in New York City, and she's still a realtor who has a license in Manhattan. An interesting couple. But I've helped him with his car and different things. I mean, he has an old Honda car that he hangs on to. He could get something else, but he's like me. We're cheap, But frugal. Sorry, frugal.
I like cheap.
But he invited us over.
Let's make cheap an okay word to say.
That was his grandfather would say that.
He invited us over for a fusion of Chinese, Korean, and Japanese barbecue.
Come on.
Now, I'm more of I don't eat a lot of meat, so I got to be careful about meat sweats, if you ever heard that. So, but he invited me over, so we don't eat pork. He said, "Oh, you're kind of like, what, you're Jewish?" I said, "No." He said, "It's fine." And he got this little cooker on a little Bunsen burner, and he cooked this steak, this meat, and he put all these different spices and sauces on him. And he had us over, and Julie, you couldn't be there. It was me, my son Mason, and my daughter-in-law Tiffany.
Wow.
Yeah, I got the meat sweats on that one. Not in a bad way, just I wasn't used to it, but we were eating it more. And the thing is, we have yet, and this is confession, because of our busy schedule, we have yet to return that favor.
Wow.
And they do travel. They just came back, right?
They just came, but no, that's the wrong
Oh,
neighbors.
see, I don't even know which.
Yeah.
Okay.
So but the point is, it's not that we don't. I still help him with his car. He did that because I help him with his car, but we still need to have him over. And that's the whole thing. We need to be more intentional. So confession.
Yeah.
It's like, we have neighbors who would love to come to our house. We know them. I meet them because I walk my dog and I know every one of them.
Sure.
And we need to, we're convicted when we share a message like that. It's not like we're there. It's like, we can invite, Sarah.
Yeah, we need to do better.
And Matt, I just talked to him, and that's what I'm saying. We're all in the same boat, and there's a lot of people that would really benefit from being around the extended table.
But if you get an invitation, right? Like you're out walking your dog.
Yeah.
You're even just across the fence, helping with the car.
Yeah.
It isn't the same invitation, though, than it is if they're sitting at your table enjoying food, or you're sitting next to the Bunsen burner with meat sweats going, this is what I signed up for today, right? It's a different invitation. And when
Absolutely.
when they ask you, like, hey, oh, you don't eat pork? Oh, no. And that whole conversation just opens an easy door that you don't have to kick in. You just gently nudge it. The door opens. You have a conversation. There's exposure. And then whenever it happens, I'm sure it will, that return invitation, who knows where the Holy Spirit
Absolutely
just says X, Y, and Z to whoever it needs to be. And it's just such a different dynamic. And the other part I wanted to touch on is, families look different. You guys talked about this throughout a lifetime. Three boys, now empty nesters. You still have one, you go into college. And the family dynamic changes around the table.
Yeah.
And and when you're in it, you just kind of adjust. You learn to, it's like, oh, never heard that one before. It's like, well, how old are they? Oh, shoot, man, preteens, here it comes. And then you get the snapback and it's like, ooh, teenager right around the corner. You find all those different pieces and stages that you go through. And I think that a lot of times people come to your home, and when they see you in that scenario with your family and go, I mean, how many times have you been to someone's house and they go, oh, wow, is that normal? Like that, and then, that comment, wow, that's helpful because we've been having the same, I think that's part of it is a commonality. Like, oh, what do you want to eat? Oh, we'll make Thai, or we'll make, whatever kind of food. Cause Ken and I both really like Thai, and
we do too.
Everybody on staff loves Thai except Freud.
Thai.
Freud doesn't like Thai?
No, he's sick
There's
of Thai.
something wrong with him.
He says we eat too much Thai around here.
What's he like?
Steak. Which I can't, I can't.
Is he Brazilian?
He's Brazilian.
He is.
Yeah, that's the
you
answer.
can't argue with that. And I think all the different pieces, and that food is such a central thing. And when we talked about the story of Mary and Martha, and I'm like, the food is important. I get it. Because if the food isn't good, the conversation is not going to be good either. And so I love that Jesus puts the importance on the sitting beside.
Yeah.
You went into a little detail about that. But how many of us would choose the sitting beside, when it's Uncle Stinky versus Jesus, right? So something's got to happen to make me want to be there when it's Uncle Stinky. That I just, we argue, we don't see things the same. He smells bad, inappropriate jokes, whatever it is. And yet Jesus is like, no. Part of this is, yes, the food, and that's all important. But it really is, making sure that when we're together and we're at the table, that we're really trying to show his love the best that we can to people.
Yeah. Just being gracious.
I think I've said this before on podcasts, so forgive me if you're hearing it for the 15th time, but I am telling you, you can say Uncle Stinky, but Uncle Stinky is exactly the person you need to be having that meal with, because I realized when I was a young pastor that when I was having problems connecting with a church member, or there was somebody who I thought was upset with me or whatever, if I could invite them over for a meal at my house, the problems 85% of the time would evaporate.
Yeah.
Wow.
And in the first district I was in, I was having some issues with one of my church members. Invited them over for a meal, and kind of at the end of it, it was just, we had a pleasant conversation with the families. We're all together, and at the end of it, I think we were in the living room after, and I said, "Hey, just feels like there's been some tension. Is everything okay?" "Oh, Pastor, thank you for asking," and had a nice conversation, ironed some things out, but it happened around a table. Wow. And I think
reconciliation.
Yeah. But there's something that when you have somebody over to your house, when you feed them, there's something that says, "Hey, I care about you." And so if we have an issue, clearly I care about you and I want to work things out. And so I just think, and I think that even going out for a meal out to eat is helpful. But I think that when you have somebody over to your house in particular, that really tends to connect you in ways.
And I think, Ken,
for every person, by the way, that I've invited over to my house, it's not just people that I think
you have a beef with.
No, not at all.
Julie, I just wanted to say that, and as every year goes by, as things change, it becomes more imperative and more impactful to have someone over to your house when you open your doors. It's becoming less common, and when you extend that table and you open that door, it becomes more and more impacting. And I do believe there's reconciliation that happens when you open your heart, your door, your table to others.
Because you're showing vulnerability. You're opening yourself up. You're inviting them into your home. Yeah. So now you've literally opened yourself up, but that's spiritual too.
Well, you're very much making yourself vulnerable by doing that, right?
Yeah.
They can criticize your home and what it looks like. They can criticize the quality of the food, what you made. There's a lot of critique that happens, and I find that almost never happens. And I think about all the times I've been invited over to somebody's house, and even if the food wasn't always, the greatest, it meant a lot. There are people that if they invite you over to their house, you could care less what the food's going to taste like. Yeah. You just want time with them. And you're like, this is amazing that I get to spend time with you. And if the food is great, that's a bonus. But who cares? Yeah. I just want time with you.
Yeah. And I think talking about Uncle Stinky. Yeah. This was Uncle Stinky, but we were at seminary, and we were at a particular church that we had when we were at Andrews. It's a seminary for the Seventh-day Adventist Church. We usually have a church that we worked with, and that one family invited us over, and we were vegetarians at the time, and they invited us over, and they literally probably took out a packet of Oscar Mayer beef hot dogs, put them in boiling water, threw it on the table with a can of beans, and they were a humble family. That's what I had, but they kind of challenged us. They had us over. We sat down and says, "They're beef hot dogs, and there's a can of beans."
No, they didn't say they were beef.
No, they didn't.
Because we were wondering.
But the point was, we showed up, we connected with them. I don't think that they challenged us. You know what I mean? They were, I think, surprised that we even came. But when we were there, we forged a connection with those families. So I want to put that on the line of the Uncle Stinky. But the point is, there are people that want to open up their homes that are afraid to, because maybe they're humble. Maybe their home is humble. Maybe they're struggling, and that's the places when they open up their home. It's like the washing Jesus's feet. You know what I mean? I don't want to say it's the spikenard, but for them to prepare a meal for you, it could be a lot more costly than someone else. But there again, it's not just us opening up the table, but enjoying someone else's table and the simplicity we talked about of heart. it's important to allow people to, don't say, well, no, you don't have to do that. No, you don't have to do that. It's, because thinking, oh, they don't have the money to do it, but they want to do it. And you want to walk in there for the blessing that they can receive.
Yeah.
And you don't ever see, I don't think, someone's true personality unless you spend a lot of time with them. Maybe, even if you work with them, though, you go to someone's house for the first time and
it's the best.
Right. And you're just like, wow, I wasn't expecting, name it, a friend of mine went over to their house 25 years ago, long time ago. And Ansel Adams, they were a big Ansel Adams fan. It was one of my favorite photographers.
Yeah.
And the rest of the evening, we talked about photographs and high school yearbooks, being on the photo staff, and all these different things, and like a total side you would never know because it doesn't come up in everyday conversation. And all the things that, even if there's not a ton in the space, when every wall has at least one photo, and you're like, ooh, Ansel Adams, it's like, right? And so I think there's a spot that we let open a little bit in that vulnerability that Ken talked about earlier. And the one thing I didn't, I've never heard it maybe said this way. Tell me more about taste and see.
Taste and see that the Lord is good. Well, that's a favorite topic, and that's a whole nother, I've actually preached sermons on this, about just experiencing God through our senses. Like I was saying, taste goes beyond just the physical experience to a spiritual understanding. And if we can go beyond just seeing Jesus and actually spiritually understand him, and if we can also take our relationships to that same level, to that deep, intimate level, and by opening up our homes, we are giving them that opportunity. In our own personal devotion time, taking it to that next level. I love to do multi-sensory worship. In even my own devotion time, candles, something hot to drink, a fuzzy blanket. I like to have the sunrise behind me or in front of me, just taking in God through all these senses. And I draw, and no, he does not. He's on his laptop. But that's not to say that yours is any less intimate but for me, I need that. I need that kind of multisensory.
And I appreciate that, Julie, because I think that we all, I think that sometimes there's this idea that there's one way of having personal devotions and worship time. And there's, unless you're reading, 6 chapters out of the King James Version and spending, 45 minutes praying, you haven't really had a proper devotional. And I like what you're saying, because there is something, I think, incredibly, I think the things you're talking about are so important they may not be important for Brad or me, but I think that for some people, that's the way they connect with God. And not to down the 6 chapters. For some people, that's how they connect with God. But I appreciate you saying that, because I bet you there's people listening to this right now that thought, I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
I would actually start looking forward to my devotional life instead of dreading it if I had a nice warm beverage there and the fuzzy blanket and maybe listen to certain music that that brings me closer to God, and let that be a large part of that experience. So I love that.
Yeah.
I love, you had me at warm beverage.
Yes.
Yeah. So, for me, I love, and my wife's like, you can't read, read the Bible on your iPad. I'm like, I can, and I do. And that's because it's always there. And so it's easy for me. And I'll just put the do not disturb so I don't get distracted. And music, I love little classical music while, you do that. And the hardest part is finding the time to treat myself right. Because I'm worth it. And, to have those things that you're talking about, you have to be intentional, because all those things don't just like, oh, look at that, a fuzzy blanket. There's a warm cup of coffee. Ah, my Bible's right there too. And the couch. Come on. How did that happen? So
boom.
It's right. It just falls on you. But being intentional enough. And I think that's where you guys talked about being in kind of in that savor zone and in perceiving and experiencing God. And I really felt like that came from a spot of gratitude.
Yeah.
And I think it's from that space of gratitude. If we really believe that every morning that God makes our life better, he's going to make it better and continue to do that when we seek him out and we do these things. And if it comes from a place of gratitude, it doesn't take that much time to plan. It just takes time to plan. It takes time to find those spaces and do what you need to do so that the time that you spend, it doesn't have to, unless, and again, if it's 6 chapters, it's 6 chapters. Sometimes it's literally 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And other times it's like, wow, that was like an hour. Where did that go? I've had that happen sometimes. If I come in, since I'm dropping off Emily early, sometimes I'm here at like 8:30 in the morning if traffic is good and it's like, hey, it's pretty quiet here. There's nobody here. I could just do devotion now.
Except for Ken. Ken's here.
Ken's across the way. So, maybe I could just, make the coffee and do it now.
Sure.
So sometimes that works. But being intentional and valuing, to me, it's also about valuing us and taking care of us, just like you would go to the gym, like you would do whatever else that you need to do, mental health or whatever, to keep yourself in that. So the gratitude was a huge part of that for me.
Yeah.
And I heard that come through in what you were saying.
So Randy, I did this topic made me curious. And I thought to one of the things I thought to myself is I wonder what percentage of people actually
Ken has a graph.
Eat a meal around the table.
Ooh.
What percentage of Americans what percentage of Americans do you think eat at least one meal a week around
one meal a week?
At least one a week.
32%.
61.
Oh, I wouldn't go that high.
Once a week? 61.
No.
Brad's an optimist.
Yeah,
I like that.
I wouldn't go that
Once
high.
a week.
Maybe in your context, but you're talking about in America?
In America, how many Americans who do not live alone
Yeah,
eat around
under
a
20,
table at
I'd
least
say.
once a week? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Julie, you and I were on the same page. That's where I was going with it too. And it turns out that Brad, it's actually 75%.
Woo, good for you.
Yeah. So
Brad, look at you.
Yeah.
I like it.
I was shocked. And apparently the number has gone up since COVID.
Yeah,
Well,
I can see that.
That makes sense.
I knew that.
That's been the case. And so according to YouGov,
There's no evidence to say otherwise.
29% of Americans say that they eat one meal a day around a table every day of the week.
So my 32 was close to that.
29. That's every day, 29%.
That's what you meant.
Yeah.
4 to 6 times, 23%. 2 to 3 times, 16%. Once a week, 7%. So if you total all those percentages up, they come out to about 75%. 7% say that it's less than once a week. 10% only for special occasions, and 4% never.
Wow.
Wow.
I thought that was kind of a cool.
Well, I think it's hard though too. I mean, we've been for a couple of months now. The whole family got gym memberships, and so when everyone likes to work out is also a different thing. So,
Right.
Are you a morning person? Me, never. If you see me at the gym, someone hauled my dead carcass in and threw it there to try to cover it up, like they're trying to make some kind of a timeline for themselves. It won't be me, I promise. Even if it's my doppelganger, they wouldn't get up that early to go work out. So you're going to see me there at night, which sometimes is like, are you going to be home for dinner or are you working? Like, when is this going to happen? So there's a lot of challenges, even just in regular of like all 4 people.
Yeah, and if you go home and eat, and then go back out to the gym.
Never going to happen.
Never
Yeah.
gonna happen.
My backpack is right over there with shoes, shirt, shorts, and everything needed to go for tonight. Yeah, not going to happen.
That's a challenge. That's a good point, Randy. It is a challenge because we want to take care of our bodies. We want to do all these things, and we also, we also want to be around the table and prioritize family. And that's reality. That's life.
Yeah. Although we do try to make it so that at least, there's times when I'll go at 10 o'clock at night just because, look, I can get little one in bed. I can, they can eat dinner. I may not, whatever, but I can still be at the table. We can still be there and then I can go later. Cause I don't mind working out at 10 o'clock at night. That doesn't bother me. So
I do.
Do you?
Oh,
yeah.
no.
I'm a morning.
If I go that late at night, I am not going to be asleep until 2 a.m.
Oh, see, if I go, really?
Oh, yeah, no, because it does not put I don't know. It doesn't put me to sleep. Morning is my preferred
You got a steam room
time.
at your gym?
I'm not that fancy yet, Brad.
Oh, they had the. I don't know where you live. I mean, over at Popka, they have a steam room over there at the. I won't mention names, and we're not supposed to be doing advertising, but it's now Crunch now. But they have that. It used to be a different one.
Yeah.
And your point is that would.
Well, the steam room, you work out, and then you go in there and kind of do the little steam room.
We have the hot tub and pool at ours, so we're happy.
The hot tub.
Yeah.
You're in the hot tub. You're in the hot tub over there.
I'm telling you, there's nothing like hydrotherapy to help your back and
Randy,
your legs
the hot
out.
tub man.
That's
All
where you're
right.
gonna find me anytime. If there's a hot tub, you're like, check for Randy. He's over there somewhere. All right. So the other one was I really liked how you put it into context, like adding new stories to the table.
Yeah.
And, expanding, giving that idea that, expanding, even if it's like where you guys are now, where a little bit of empty nesters happening, who can I find to bring into the table and expand that and keep that going? And, in with all the things we've discussed, all the things that make it difficult, all the things that give you pause, my house isn't just right, or, I might be serving beans and hot dogs because that's all I have this week, but if you really want to have someone over, does it matter, right? Like if you're the person that got think of the worst invite you've ever gotten that someone might think is bad, but at the end you're like, that was actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
Like we didn't do anything special. We play, whatever. We talked for the afternoon, and then when it came evening time, they're like, "Hey, want to play cards, or you want to like?"
We're game people.
Yeah.
We were trying to get rid of a cabinet, but it has a lot of games
in it.
underneath
Yeah, no,
it, and we can't find a place to store it.
What's your go-to games right now? What do you like? If you went home tonight and said we're going to play games, what game would come out first?
Well, it depends if we've got the kids.
The
with
kids
us.
change games like every 6 months. They get the newest game.
Yeah.
So
But we love Catan.
Catan is the new one that they play. But now they
But
have a new one.
Brad and I, it's just Scrabble.
Oh, okay.
We'll do Scrabble.
Yeah, nice. You guys are word people.
Yeah, well, she's a word person.
So does that mean she
I
wins
beat her
usually?
once in my life. But the kids are really cool about that.
I let him win that one.
Adam and Ise, our middle son and his wife, they always are looking for the next board game that is on
something new.
So the newest favorite
What
one
is
I
that
have
one?
is Codenames.
Oh, that's
Love that.
Yeah,
we
Codenames.
love
Love
code names
Codenames.
around here.
Okay,
Yes.
so I didn't play
That's a
that.
good one.
There was too many people playing that, so I wasn't able to. Well, I guess I could have. Okay, I confess I didn't want to. I was sick though.
You don't like code names?
I know I was sick. I was
Yeah.
dealing with the
No,
cold.
that's hard.
Were you playing that? Was that the game
No,
you
that
played?
was a different game.
What was that game called?
Oh, it was something about colors. I don't remember what it's called.
They come up with these games and we're learning new games. It was colors.
But Randy, that goes back to one of the lines we said was, "It's not about the food; it's about the fellowship."
Fellowship, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we did have one question this week. Question was, how do we extend the table even to those we don't like? Hashtag
Yeah.
Uncle Stinky, especially when it's a family member that the rest of the family can't get along with. We're called to the table and not just to strengthen relationships within our inner circle, but also to reach beyond it. And to be honest, speaking for myself, this idea isn't new. I understand it, but leaving it out is hard because I'm just not naturally inclined to share space with those who have hurt me. Matthew, you know what? You had me at I'm not inclined to share space with those who have hurt me. I mean, that's just human nature to not want to do that.
Yeah,
But
they're not wrong. They're not wrong.
they're not wrong. There's some situations where you're not ready to do that. I mean, there's hurts, there's pain, there's
Yeah.
forgiveness. I've learned that just because you forgive someone doesn't mean that you allow them to hurt you again.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. Some people that forgive, that means you just no. That doesn't mean that you're ready to have this relationship or even extend your table. Not that you wouldn't if there is a need, but it there has to be some harmony in there. That doesn't God works with us where we are only to take us where He wants us to be in His time.
Yeah. Forgiveness doesn't mean we have to be friends in the future.
Yeah, no. Hey,
It could be, but it doesn't have to be.
you don't have to be friends.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's kind of hard to understand, but you can love people. You don't have to be their best friend.
Yeah. Ken's always talked about that too, is if there's someone that's truly done serious damage, then there's a lot of steps that have to go through. Maybe you need to see someone professionally. There's steps that, that person would have to go to get back into that relationship that you'd allow it to be safe for yourself. So there's lots of things to consider.
Absolutely.
But even beyond that person that's really hurt us, today in this day and age with politics and the not just diversity, but the tension, there's still a place around the table. Now, how can we
Boundaries.
how can we have some
Establish 'em.
boundaries, guide the conversation, keep
Well, sometimes you have to go in with rules.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've accepted dinner invitations from people that were like, you love to talk politics, and we don't like talking politics. If we're going to go out and have fun, I'd rather just talk about something else, or let's do something else. So we will come, we will accept the invitation. But if we're going to talk about politics, then please don't be upset when we leave.
and
Because
have
it's just
a
no one has a
topic.
good time when we do this, and everyone leaves
Yeah.
angry. And I don't want to leave angry. I don't want you to leave angry. I don't want you to be angry at me, whatever. So if we're getting together to have fun, let's have fun. But let's just agree on some ground rules, right?
Yeah,
agree.
and come prepared
Yeah.
with some way to divert the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, your safe words.
If you want me to come to your house and you want to talk about the Dallas Cowboys for 3 hours, I may
Oh,
not
forget
come.
that. No.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Amen.
I had to kick
You're
Bernie
in a-
Anderson
you're in
out
a
of my
safe
house
place.
once. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, Bernie.
No,
I love you.
but I think that is a real challenge for the table
Mhm.
today.
Yeah.
I think it always has been a challenge to a certain point. I mean, there was always the jokes, even when I was growing up, about, but in the world that we lived in, that's so divided, where there's so much, you see somebody's social media post that you've invited over, and you're like, I don't know why I invited them over if they feel that way about this, and we're going to have this conversation. So there's all these dynamics I hear and I experience. And I think it is important for that table to be transparent, in that, if, to what you said, Randy, if it is a thing where it's like, hey, I'd love to come over, but I know that we disagree on vegetarian eating, or being vegan, or politics, or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
It can be anything.
But to just say, look, for us to all have a comfortable, I want to come over, but I need us not to be talking about that. And if that's something that's really important for you, that you want to be talking about, that's fair. But then I'm not the right dinner partner for you on that, because I know it won't be constructive.
Yeah.
And putting that out there and giving people the choice on that, rather than assuming that they're not capable of not talking about something like that. And I know that there's a lot of, we ought to be able to talk about this and get along. But there's also some topics that just, there is going to be a fundamental disagreement, to the point where it's just a dinner table is not the right place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Or it's just that, you have history. And you know that it's not just once and we had a disagreement, but it's like every time this is your focal point. This is your life.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's okay. I'm not here to tell you how to live, how to think, how to do whatever, but it just,
It's
you're like,
unpleasant.
and when your kids go, do we have to go there?
Yep.
I can't take it. Please, please don't make us go there. So, you just have to do what you have to do.
Absolutely.
And you can do it nicely. And sometimes, you'll get a no, and sometimes you get a yes. It just depends.
Yep.
But then you know where you want to go the next time, because you'll be like, hey,
Absolutely.
this works out pretty good.
And it's a journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a journey. So it may take several invitations. It may take several visits, several meaning a lot, or just a few. But
Maybe you should tell them, why don't we sit, savor, share, stretch, and serve? I loved those. That was the way you guys closed that out, was so good. Like, if this is the expectation of what we're going for and what we want out of it, if this is 2 or 3 or even 4 groups, small groups of people that are going to get together, and it's like, hey, maybe that's part of the invitation. Maybe we should go back to old-fashioned invitations. Ken, you've been invited to lunch.
handwritten, delivered.
Yeah, we're going to calligraphy this junk up, and we're going to...
Hey, I'll do that.
We're-
Yeah.
She loves doing cards.
Yeah, so we're...
Or at least I'll get my AI to do it for me.
That's
so.
right. You've been...
Calligraphy.
I'll get Lucas to do it for me, because he'll get AI to do it for him. But seriously, like, you've been invited to come, sit, savor, share, stretch, and serve. Now, wouldn't that feel like a great afternoon, or a great, I don't know, we're usually the sort where it's like, when people come over, we just expect you're going to stay until you're tired and go home. That's not everybody's expectation. And so maybe that needs to be part of the card too. But
The old days, man, I remember inviting people over after church, and they'd stay for supper.
yeah,
and into the evening, and then we'd watch a movie, whatever was
Then you
there.
do the
'cause
popcorn.
Yeah.
popcorn and throw in the VHS, and even before VHS, it was whatever the network had on.
Yeah.
Of what,
Lawrence Welk.
Lawrence Welk. Yeah, close
Oh,
that.
every Saturday night at my
One of my
grandma's house.
favorite.
I do.
Yeah.
One of my favorite memories is. Sorry, Mom. I just got to tell this story because it's so funny.
Apologies.
And but we had some folks come over to our house many years ago when I was growing up, and they had lunch with us. And after lunch, they talked for what I would consider an appropriate amount of time. They're like, "Well, we should probably be headed home." My mom's like, "What? You're going to head home now? I mean, don't you want to stay and talk for a while longer?" And they're like, "Well, I mean, I guess we could." Yeah. So they do. So they stay and they talk, and they're like, "Well, it's just getting close to dinner time. We better leave." "Well, I mean, we got some stuff around. Why don't you stay and eat lunch?" And so they do. And then they get done eating, and they're like, "Well, thank you. This is, I mean, great." And Mom, "Well, you want to stay, play some games?" And they're like, "Sure, okay." So they do. They finally go home, and my mom's like, "I thought they were never going to leave." So anyway,
I thought
She's
you were going
from
to.
Virginia, right?
I know.
Yes.
Go
I
ahead.
thought you were going to say, "Well, we brought our pajamas. You mind if we just stay the night and wake up here for breakfast?"
But see, the thing is, I think that any good Southerner understands what happened there. And these folks, I think, were not from the South.
No.
And in the South, you're required by Southern law to invite people to stay.
Yeah.
And you can't
Even when
tell
you're
them-
ready for them to go. This is something that my wife cannot begin to wrap her mind
me
around,
neither.
because on the West
Get out.
Coast, it's like, time to go. See ya. It's like, well, hey, nice lunch. Have a great day.
Well, it's
But
time to go.
That is just not, and to defend my mom here a little after throwing her under the bus, this is the way we do it in the South.
Yeah.
It's like you're required by Southern law to say, well, wouldn't you like to stay? And if you're a good Southerner, what you say is,
"Oh, we couldn't.
"Oh, we couldn't do that.
No.
You guys weren't expecting us to stay that much longer." And then the person says, "Well, no, it wouldn't be a hassle if you wanted to." That's right there. If you hear them say that, it's like, well, we probably ought to be. Well, I think it probably point out. Well, but you'd be welcome to if you wanted to. Then you know it's time to go. But if they're
how
like,
many
no,
times
seriously,
is
it would be no hassle. We'd be upset if you didn't stay. Then you know you can stay.
Yeah.
But you have to. There's a rule of
Three
three.
strikes? Okay.
The rule of three.
Just so I know, because, this is
When you
never
come to my
happened
house, Randy, but Rochelle will tell you to leave. It's okay. So you
Trust
don't have
me,
to worry
I'm
about
from
me.
the north. I'm ready to go. I'm out of there. You don't have to
Yeah.
ask me twice.
Yeah.
I remember when first Sabbath I was pastoring in Spokane, Washington. The family invited us to come over for lunch after church, and I did the Southern thing. I was like, "Oh, that's all right. You weren't.
Yeah.
You weren't expecting us to come over. It's no problem. We'll catch you another time." And they're like, "Okay." And my wife kicked me. She's like, "What's wrong? They wanted you to come over." I was like, "No, but they didn't like say." And she's like, "We don't play those games around here.
We just say what we mean.
We say what we mean." They wanted you to come over. You said, "Well, I don't want to put you out." And they're like, "Oh, okay. I mean, I guess you don't want to come over. Fine."
Ouch. Ouch.
So I had to learn. I had to learn.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. I know that every time someone comes to preach here, and even though you are newly under the wire, newly minted members here at WholeLife Church, and we're happy that you've decided to come and join us here, but it's a big ask. You got to do two sermons on Sabbath. So, get through the first one and then kind of, okay, we got to get braced for the next one. And then, hey, can you come back and do the podcast as well? So it has been an absolute pleasure to have you guys here. This has been great fun,
And
great
I'd also
conversation.
say team preaching is hard. Like
It is.
I
I've
would
never done
rather
it.
like way easier to do a sermon all by yourself than to try to preach with another person, and even when it's your spouse. And so you guys did an outstanding job. It was
praise the
so
Lord.
good.
It was fun.
It was. It
Yeah.
was really good. Like just
Praise
one of the
God.
best I've seen done in a team teaching like that, and it was really good. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was excellent. I love seeing that team teaching approach, and you guys just did a great job with it.
And then you
Thank
brought
you,
it
Ken.
here too. So
Yep.
yeah. So Ken, you must know, being that Melanie's not, I usually pick on her and try to find out what's happening next.
Oh, you want to know what's coming up?
So what's coming up?
Well, we are starting a Christmas season officially, although I would say we started off really well with Brad
Yep.
and Julie with the table. And we are jumping into a series called Overflowing Gifts. And so we are going to be talking about different kinds of gifts that are in the Christmas story.
Oh.
And so this week we're talking about the gift of prophecy. And when we were thinking of this series, that was not the first thing that came to my mind, but was Melanie and I were kind of drilling down on this topic. We thought, what kind of gifts are there? And Melanie said, well, wouldn't that be interesting to talk about prophecy as something? Because the Christmas story is just packed full of prophecy. And I knew it was, but I didn't realize how much it was until I started really preparing for this sermon that's coming up, of how much prophecy is in there. And I think what's going to be fun to talk about is that prophecy isn't always what I think we think of it as being. I think a lot of times when we think of prophecy, we think about predicting the future. This kind of like Daniel type revelation where we're like, oh, what's going to happen in the future? Or, but a lot of prophecy, why don't you come to church and I'll tell you what it is. We won't give it away too much there, but I think it'll be really interesting. It'll be fun. And what I'm really working hard is to make it actually have something that you can go home and apply.
Maybe over the table.
You would think with prophecy, it was like, how can I apply that? I'm not a prophet, but maybe you are. So
maybe.
Good
we'll
table discussion.
Okay.
So, and then the week after that, we're doing Overflowing Gifts, the gift of presence.
Ooh, I love presents.
Little play on the I love presents too, but this is presence as being present, being
I'm not so
in a
crazy
place. So
about
we're
that
going to talk about that one. And so we're talking. You can see how that you can probably already imagine how that Christmas story might be God with us type of thing there. So we're going to talk about presence, and then finally the last sermon will be the gift of praise, which we see a lot of in the Christmas story. God being given praise for things. So that'll be the 3-part Christmas series. This week is also our children's Christmas program that happens during Sabbath school time. It'll be on the 3rd floor.
10:45.
Yep, 10:45. So come be a part of that. Bring your kids. It's going to be great. Aubrey's put together a great program for your kids.
Nice.
That's at 10:45, like you said. So that's this week. And then the following week is actually our big Christmas program that we usually do 2 weeks before Christmas so that people can be present. I see what I did there. Yeah.
I got you.
And they're not off on holiday. And so we have a full orchestra this year.
Yeah.
And choir. Julie, you're in the choir, so it's going to be good, right?
It's going to be good.
It's going to be real good. So that is coming up on that Sabbath, which what is that? The 15th, I think.
13th.
13th.
Right? Yeah, because the 20th is our brunch.
Okay, there we go. And so that's what I was going to say. On the 20th, we're doing a brunch, and Freud has actually come up with a genius idea of getting some really large meeting-sized tents that we're going to put outside for our brunch.
Nice.
And so for those of you, this is the time where those chopped potatoes and eggs and stuff like that, if you we're going to have a big brunch together. And
your favorite thing.
That'll be happening. So we've got a really fun Christmas season planned here at the church. Hope that you and your family will be a big part of that. And
absolutely.
If you're viewing us online, you're going to be a big part of that too. Make yourself a special brunch on the brunch weekend and just be a part of it.
Nice hot beverage and a blanket, I've heard, are pretty good too to worship time.
Absolutely.
So one thing before I let you go, and I meant to ask you this earlier, tradition at my mom's house when I grew up, every Friday night, we grew up in Wisconsin. As soon as the weather turned cold, just a little bit, it was mom's homemade chili every Friday night.
Okay. And
so when I saw you winning the chili, I'm like, okay, she kind of feels like there's some family vibes coming here. So do you have any recipes that you cook from?
So one time my son, I think it was for a Super Bowl, and he said, "Mom, can you give me your chili recipe?" And I said, "I will try." So it took me forever. I made the chili, but I had to stop and measure, which I don't normally do. And I tried to write it down. So I do have something written, but I cannot guarantee the results.
So would you send me the recipe by chance?
I don't know.
Sure, but you said you can't handle the jalapeno though, right?
Well, I mean, not, but there's, for those that are listening, in our Slack channel, we like to put little Easter eggs out there for people that would.
Okay.
It's like if you join up on the Slack channel, there's pictures of things that happen. There's
Sure.
behind the scenes, and if Julie's award-winning chili recipe might show up, if that was something that was allowable. I mean, I wanted you to divulge anything that you.
I don't mind. Like I
Okay.
said, though, because it may not be like mine.
Yeah,
Exactly.
well, but they've never had yours, so they might go, this is
Wow.
way better. It might not be as good as Julie's, but it's way better than mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe.
Nice.
Sure.
All right, that's it, guys. Check into the Slack channel. I can't put I could put it in the show notes, so I'm not going to. If you want Julie's recipe, you got to join the Slack channel. That is in today's show notes. So if you swipe up in the device you are listening on, you will see that link. Click the link, and we will add you. If the link sometimes is temperamental, to send an email to podcast@wholelife.church, and I will add you from the email that you send that request from. That's going to do it, guys. Once again, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. It was a
That was,
pleasure.
It was great.
It was a great message. It made Thanksgiving. It made Thanksgiving even better, even after Thanksgiving. So
Yeah.
there you go. All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and have a great week.